Hey everybody, this is Ryan, and welcome to episode 17 of Let's Play Terraria. I cannot believe it has been 17 episodes already. Man, it's going by really fast. Alright, so you might be saying, hey, why aren't I in the dungeon? I never concluded that. I was down there when I left off. And the thing is, as I was watching it, what would have been part 3, and I was like, you know what, this is, it's kind of boring. All it is me looking for keys and not being able to find any, and then I find some and open a chest, and that's it. And you guys are watching these videos to either learn about the game or be entertained, and if it's not doing either of those, then what's the point of showing it? So instead, I am just going to show you guys the loot that I got from the dungeon and kind of show you what it all does. So first, I have this sword. This is my favorite sword in the entire game. I'm going to try to say it now. Muramasa? I really hope that's right. I've been practicing all day. The Japanese guy that lives in the state of Kansas was busy, so I couldn't ask him to make sure. But hopefully that's right. And this is what it does. It just annihilates everyone. And the great thing about it is, all you have to do is hold down the attack button, which is the left mouse button, and it just attacks constantly. It'll never stop. All the other weapons, you have to constantly keep clicking. So, only sword that does it, I love that sword. Next, we have the Aqua Scepter. And you can see that it shoots out water and just annihilates everything in its path. Very powerful weapon, but it uses mana very, very quickly. One thing I should note, that you see, it doesn't create water. The attack is water, but it doesn't create water, so I can't just hold it down and, you know, make a lake. Next, we have the Magic Missile. And you can see here, it shoots a magic missile. And one cool thing about it is, say you're down in the caves, you can't really see what's going on, you can shoot it and it lights up as it goes. So, pretty cool effect. Another thing, look at this, it's going crazy, it's all over the place. What that does, when you attack, when you click the attack button, if you hold it down, you can control it. So it's kind of cool, you can use it as just kind of see where you're going, see into another area that's far off, whatever you want to do there. Next we have the Water Bolt. The Water Bolt is kind of unique in that you do not get it from chests. I actually got this from when I was picking up all those books. So it just kind of shows up randomly when you're knocking books off with your hammer. You'll get this item. And same thing that it doesn't actually create water. But what's kind of cool is that it bounces off of walls. This will go through enemies and then bounce off a wall. So if you got 5 guys lined up right here, it'll go through them, bounce off that wall, come back. And these actually bounce for a long time. And you can even use them to find floating islands, which I'll kind of show off here in just a little bit. Next, we have the Shadow Key, which I briefly explained, but I'll go ahead and do it again. What the Shadow Key does is it opens all shadow chests in the underworld, and you only need one of them. You can see the water bolt still bouncing around down there. But you only need one Shadow Key to open all the chests. Those gold keys we were finding in the dungeon, I needed 1 key per chest, not so much with the Shadow Key. Then we have the handgun. Now I was not particularly happy, or I should say excited, when I got the handgun, but it was pointed out to me by Mr. Genoid that this is actually used to make one of the strongest weapons in the game in crafting. You make the Phoenix Blaster. And so I really appreciate that Mr. Genoid pointed out my incompetence to the world. But no, really, I really do appreciate it because I don't use ranged weapons that often. And since I don't use it, I wouldn't have mentioned it. You know, I knew about it, but it didn't pop into my head to say it. So I really appreciate that he pointed that out and it got mentioned. And last but not least, we have the Blue Moon. I have not shown these types of weapons off. You can see it shoots out there. This is really nice for when you're fighting Eater of Worlds or worms, in that it does a massive amount of damage. It just sits out there and just hits those segments just constantly. And another thing is it's actually affected by gravity. Not many weapons do that, but this one does. And so that's it. That's the weapons we got from the dungeon. Oh, I'm sorry, the Cobalt Shield, which I have equipped and I absolutely love. It is one of my key accessories. It makes it so I don't get knocked back when I get hit. Now that we're kind of going into some tougher areas, that is very important. You know, down in the underworld, you can get knocked into lava. Just a lot of bad things can happen. So that shield is pretty nice. But with the new update coming out, it looks like they got some really cool stuff. And I'm going to have to make some really hard decisions with what I consider to be my staple accessories. So that's it for the dungeon loot we got. It's some great stuff. It really helps. You know, it's great to go in there and get all these items. It really adds a lot to the game. And so now we're going to find some floating islands. Alright, so how do you find a floating island? What is a floating island? All these questions. Well, first of all, it depends on your map size. You have small, medium, and large. Small, the most you're going to find is 3, medium 5, large 6. That's not to say you're going to find 5 or 6 in your medium and large worlds. You could only find 1, you could only find 3. It just kind of depends how it formed. You can find multiple floating islands that have merged. I've seen that before too. It's kind of cool. Alright, so there's a number of ways to find one. One is you create a depth meter, and I'm going to show that off real quick. This is one of the items that you actually need a table for, which I don't have down here in my crafting area. So you need a table and a chair next to it. You can see you need 10 copper, 8 silver, 6 gold to create a depth meter. So there we go. I made one. I actually need to have it in my accessory slot. And there you can see I am 186 feet above right now. It does go into the negative if you get further down. And your floating islands, the height depends on your map size. So if you are on a small map, it's typically between 100 and 475 feet. So you kind of want to put it in the middle there. Or you want to put your sky bridge, which I'll cover in a minute, in the middle there. Medium 500 to 700, and large 500 to 1,000. So large, it's going to be pretty difficult to find floating islands if you use the method I'm about to show you. And you know, I really wouldn't advise this method actually. What you want to do is make a sky bridge, and you know what? I don't have enough dirt. I must have thrown it away when I was down in the dungeon. Well, we'll just use stone for this example. So you want to make a sky bridge, and a sky bridge is literally just a layer of dirt, stone, whatever that goes across the entire map. I'm sure you can already think of that's kind of a terrible thing to do. But, you know, that's one way to find it. I definitely would not suggest it. I would suggest the ways I'm going to show you in a minute. But kind of how you get up there is you would make a staircase like this. I would not advise just building straight up, because once you fall off your sky bridge, or you die, and you probably will a couple of times, then you're going to have to make a whole new tower to get up. And you can make stairs that go all the way up to your desired depth. You can see my depth meter rising as I go up in the air. But another way to do it, more of a straight up fashion, is you make this staircase like I showed, but then you go ahead and go back this way, and you have to destroy these blocks, and then you jump up to this one, and you go up like this. So you leave these gaps all the way up. So I can jump up there, and I can jump up there. And you do that all the way up till you get to your desired depth, and then you just make blocks that go straight across like that, all the way across the map until you find your floating islands. And of course you could be at the wrong height, and you might not find them. So that is not the most efficient way to do it, but it is one way to do it. Another way, which I think is definitely the easiest, is to use meteorite shot, which I made from all those meteorite bars I had. And what you do here is you basically just fire up into the air, and if it hits the floating island, it's going to bounce back down. And I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to find some floating islands, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back. I believe I have found one. I'm going to shoot my bullet up into the air. And if you hear it, you can hear it hit something. It's actually not coming back down. I'm a little confused by that, but we'll kind of check that out here in a second. But another way to tell this with your water bolt, you saw it bouncing around earlier. If you shoot your water bolt straight up into the air, or at least, you know, more or less straight up as you're going across the map, if it hits something, it should come back down. The only thing with the water bolt is it moves pretty slowly, but I'm pretty sure there's one up there. Oh, there it comes. Yep, there's definitely one up there. All right, so we are gonna build just straight up. I'm not concerned about getting back up there, like I kind of described that little stairway thing that I was using for the sky bridge. I'm not really concerned about getting back up here once I'm up here once. So once I get up here, I will restart the video. See you in a second. Alright, we are up here, and you can see I'm already being attacked by some harpies. They are definitely a nuisance. And one thing you might notice is that my height is 788. When I said the heights for for them to spawn, I said between 500 and 700. So this is obviously way out of that range. If you would use a sky bridge, you would not have come across this one. It just kind of shows the randomness of the world generation, but also that sky bridges really aren't the best way to go. Another thing with sky bridges, if you build one, you will not get any more meteors to fall. Maybe that's a good thing, you know, you don't want one to randomly fall on your house, but they're not gonna fall anymore. What's gonna happen is they're gonna hit that sky bridge and basically disintegrate. There's gonna be a couple meteorite to ore, but nothing of significance. You might notice that there's some silver here. A lot of silver and gold on the floating islands. That's a very common occurrence. And I got a feather for killing him. You can use that in potions, pretty commonly used in some potions. Alright, here we go. We have the treasure room on top of the floating island. This is on every floating island. The brick varies, and the brick has no significance on the item you're going to get. It could be copper, silver, or gold. You do need dungeon keys to open these. It's kind of a pain. You used to be able to come up here more or less right away once you started the game. Not anymore. Now you have to go to the dungeon first. You have to kill Skeletron first. And I brought 3 keys with me, so we're going to go to at least 3 islands, and let's see what we got. And it's the Lucky Horseshoe. It's the item I wanted. Oh, I love this item so much. And you guys will see why. All this other stuff is more or less useless. I will probably come back up here and get all this gold stuff later. I really just want to show you guys, you know, the items you get right now. Okay, I need to just make sure I have enough dirt to find the next floating island, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you what the Lucky Horseshoe does, and I can do this with absolutely no worries. Fall all the way down, take 0 damage, just like I just, you know, just jumped over a log right there. Everything's good. Oh, I love that item so much. And that was the item that I've been dying to get. So I'm going to continue my search for more floating islands, and I'll be back once we're at the treasure room of another one. See you in a minute. Alright, we are back, and we have found another one, and I want to show you guys the significance of using Meteor Shot. Now, it didn't work before, I believe, because the island was so high up, but I could still hear it hitting it. But this, once I kill these guys, this is why you use Meteor Shot. See, I shoot up, and I heard it hit, and then it also comes back down because Meteor Shot bounces off of whatever it hits. So that's why you want to use Meteor Shot. I'll continue the video once I'm at the top. Alright, we are back. As you can see, this one is made of copper. So if you wanted to, you know, decorate your house in some copper bricking, this would save you a lot of time. And let's see the item we got. We got the Star Fury. This weapon, it's kind of fun. I don't think it's all that practical, but that's just my opinion, especially now that I have my sword that I love so much, and I think it's the best sword in the game. Doesn't do the most damage, you know, but just the fact that you can hold that attack button down and really nobody can get to you, that's pretty incredible. Alright, so you see I attack with Star Fury. This is what it does. It shoots out stars. It does use mana. You can see it's going down. Mana regenerates pretty quickly. But, you know, it's just kind of a cool weapon. Not the most practical in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Maybe you're really excited to use it. So anyway, that's what the Star Fury does, and I'll stop the video and I'll start it up again when I find the next time. Hey guys, alright, I continue my search, and I thought it might be kind of fun since we have the Lucky Horseshoe now to show off one of the potions, and we're going to use the Gravitation potion. And what you can see is gravity no longer exists. I'm doing this with the up and down keys, and you can see you just fly through the air like nothing. And it's kind of good to have the depth meter here. I obviously don't have it in my accessory slot at the moment, but I'm gonna go ahead and switch that out while I'm doing this. And this is another way to find floating islands. You just do this all the way across the map, and if there's one, you're gonna come across it. So we're gonna see how much luck we have here. You can see there's a timer over on the left side of the screen, so you kind of know how much time you have to deal with. If you don't have a Lucky Horseshoe, you can still survive doing this. You know, just use your rocket boots, use your cloud in a bottle, time your landing. And that was the dungeon down there. We're not having a whole lot of luck. We have found 2 so far. We should have at least 1 more. Oh, and there we go. There it is. Alright, so let's see what we got. And this is my 3rd key, by the way, so this is the last item I can open. And we got another Lucky Horseshoe. Too bad. And, you know, there's really absolutely no point in me taking it. I'll go ahead and take that, but that's about it. The item, one of the items that we didn't get is a red balloon. And what that does is it really increases, it greatly increases your jump height. Once you have rocket boots, I don't know, I don't really think it's really worth it anymore. But, you know, maybe if you don't want to equip rocket boots, you have trouble getting them, it can definitely be useful. You know, and it works with cloud in a bottle, so, you know, you do your jump that's higher than you do your cloud in a bottle jump, you get a little bit extra, and you know, it's a little more to get. Alright, we have one more thing I want to get to in this video. I'm going to keep going across the map just in case there is one more floating island. I'll know to come back to it even though I don't have a key, but I want to cover a little bit about potions, and just kind of show you guys what they're all about. And we are at the end of the map. There's nothing over here, so just 3 floating islands. Still, we got the item I wanted, and I also kind of showed you guys that, you know, sky bridges